النهارده في البث المباشر هنبتدي مع بعض نجاوب على مجموعه من الاسئله انتوا بعتوها لنا، ونبتدي نشوف الاجابات النموذجيه وازاي نجاوب على الاسئله دي. طيب تعالوا نبتدي مع بعض كده باول سؤال بيقول لي ايه complete the following. طيب the first one, the measuring unit of sound intensity is what? Do you remember when we talked about the sound intensity and we said its measuring unit is watt per meter square. طيب while the measuring unit of noise intensity is what? The noise intensity, its measuring unit is called decibel. So again, you have to differentiate between the measuring unit of sound intensity, it's watt per meter square, but the measuring unit of noise intensity is what? Is the decibel. طيب what about the second question here? Complete waves are classified according to the ability to propagate and transfer energy into space and space. We said we can classify the waves according to the ability and to propagate and transfer energy into two types. What are these types? First one, it's called mechanical wave. The second one, it's called what? Electromagnetic waves. So again, waves are classified according to the ability to propagate and transfer energy into space and space. You are going to write mechanical waves, and in the second point, you are going to write what? Electromagnetic waves. The third question here, frequency of sonic waves ranges between space hertz and space hertz. We said that sonic waves, they are waves where the frequency ranges between 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Here I just said space hertz and space hertz. So you are going to write its frequency ranges between 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. So you are going to write what? 20,000 hertz. So again, we have sonic waves. Their frequency ranges between what and what? 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. What about a question to mention the function of each of the following? What about jacuzzi? Do you remember jacuzzi? We said it's a way that help us, or it's used to help us to treat what? Used to treat sprains and the cramps by using the hot water, and the nervous tension by using what? By using the cold water. So if I asked you to mention the function of any of the terms here, you are going to say what are the uses of this object. For example, here in the question, he just asked about jacuzzi, so you are going to say it's used to treat what? Sprains and cramps by using hot water, nervous tension by using what? The cold water. What about if I asked you to mention the function of Schwarz wheel? Do you remember Schwarz wheel? It's just a tool that helps us to determine the frequency of unknown tones. Here I have a problem. In this problem, he said sound waves have a frequency 400 hertz, and it moves in air, and its wavelength is 85 centimeter. It's 85 centimeter. Of course, we are not going to deal with the centimeter unit. We are going to convert it into what? Meter unit. Calculate the velocity of these waves. On the first step to solve any problem, that you have to write the rule. What is the rule here? That find the relation between the sound velocity or frequency and wavelength. The rule said that the velocity equals what? Frequency multiplied the wavelength. What about the frequency here? The frequency here equals 400 hertz. So below the frequency, you are going to write what? 400. Multiply, we said the wavelength, it equals 85 centimeter. We are not going to deal with the centimeter, so at the beginning, you are going to make what? 85 divided 100, and it equals what? 0.85. يبقى عندي الفريكونسي with 400, الwavelength 0.85, so the velocity equals what? 340. And don't forget to write the unit, and the unit here is going to be what? Meter per second. Another type of the questions here, we have put right or wrong. The velocity of the oscillating body reaches its maximum value when it passes its rest position. Is it right or wrong? هنا بتكلم على velocity of oscillating body. It reaches its maximum value when it passes its rest position. Of course, this sentence is right, because we said the velocity of the oscillating body decreases until it reaches to the zero at the maximum height. and it become with a maximum value when it passes through its rest position. طيب, what about the second question? Sound velocity through liquids is more than that through gases. Of course, this is right. We said the sound velocity through solids is more than through liquids, more than through gases. So here he asked sound velocity through liquids is more than that through gases. This sentence is correct. طيب, the second one, the next question, the periodic time is the time taken by the oscillating body to make one complete oscillation. This already sentence is right because we said the periodic time is what? The time taken by the oscillating body to make one complete oscillation. طيب, what about a transverse wave formed of crests and troughs? Of course, yes, we said transverse wave consists of what and what? Consists of crest and trough. طيب, what about a longitudinal wave formed of compressions and rarefactions? Of course, this sentence برضو is correct because we said transverse wave, crest and trough, but longitudinal wave consists of what and what? Compressions and rarefaction. طيب, here I have a graph. What about the information that we have on the graph? We have a displacement. Of course, this graph is a relation between displacement and the time. Here I have the maximum displacement with 1 meter. So the amplitude here it's going to be equals 1 meter. طيب, here I have the whole distance that wave covered. It equals 6 meters. And here I have 2 waves. How can I calculate the wavelength? طب احنا قلنا when I have the whole distance, I'm going to calculate the wavelength by using a rule said that wavelength equal what? Distance divided number of waves. طب أنا عندي distance كام؟ 6 meters. What about number of waves? We have 2 waves. So in this case, the wavelength equals 6 divided 2. It equals what? 3. What about the unit? It's going to be 3 meters. طب what about the periodic time? All the information that I have on the graph, that when the body did a half of the wave, it takes 2 seconds. So how can I calculate the periodic time? احنا قلنا periodic time is a time taken to make one complete oscillation. طب to make half oscillation, it takes 2 seconds. So we are going to find the periodic time by multiplying 2 seconds by 2 because أنا عندي هنا just half of the oscillation with 2 seconds. يبقى complete oscillation بكام؟ هيبقى 4 seconds. So the periodic time here it equals what? 4 seconds. طب what about if I wanted to measure the frequency? احنا قلنا ان frequency equals what? 1 over the periodic time. طيب what about periodic time? It equals 4 seconds. يبقى frequency equal 1 divided 4 equals 0.25 hertz. طيب وأتمنى بكده نكون خلصنا الفقرة بتاعتنا النهاردة. أتمنى ان انتوا تكونوا استفدتوا، وإن شاء الله أشوفكم الحلقات الجاية أو المرات الجاية ونبتدي نجاوب فيها على الأسئلة بتاعتكم ونشوف الطرق النموذجية في إجابات الأسئلة دي. شكراً.